As I said, we're going to start laying on our backs. So if you have your feet about mat distance apart, and then just lay down and bring your arms out by your sides with the palms facing up. You can always bring the hands onto the body if you want to, bringing one hand onto the heart, one onto the belly area, if that feels nicer. Just so that your shoulders feel nice and comfortable. Make sure you've got a space between the chin and the chest. The head is maybe looking up to the ceiling. You can rock the head from side to side, just until you find a nice comfortable position for the head to stop and rest. So if we take the limbs a little further away from the midline of the body, it allows the hips and the shoulders to open completely. So take a nice big deep inhale, fill up the ribs, and then exhale, release. You can open the mouth and sigh the breath out. It's really nice cleansing breath. So breathing in through the nose, open the mouth and sigh the breath out. And we'll do one more of those. So breathe in and exhale to release. And then if we can, breathing in and out through the nostrils. Some slow inhales and exhales just to arrive at your mat. And just to arrive into your body as well. We'll start off with a little mindfulness exercise as we're laid here. And it's just, all I want you to think about now is just go through the body, maybe start at the head and work downwards, and just notice each part of your body that is in contact with the mat or the ground. So starting at the head and working your way down, just noticing that connection that you have with the earth beneath you. So how much of the arms are in contact with the mat? Are any of your fingers? How much of your hands? And then just keep going through the body. And does that connection with the mat change on the inhale? So as you breathe in, does your body lift away from the ground at all? And if so, where? And what happens when you exhale? So keep making that breath longer and deeper. And the deeper the breath goes, does your connection with the earth change? Is it made stronger? And also notice the different pressures in those parts of the body. So which parts of your body are touching lightly with the earth and which ones have got a stronger connection. So probably the back of your hips, so the sacrum area, and in between your shoulder blades is a strong connection, in the back of the head. What about the rest of the body? What's that connection like? And if your eyes aren't closed, just close them down and really focus in on that connection with the earth. So this is a really good grounding exercise because we spend so much time in our heads. This is a good way of connecting yourself back with the earth, bringing yourself back into your body and being aware of what's going on for you. So just taking those slow, long inhales and exhales. And whilst we're being aware of the connection with the earth, can you feel the difference between the materials that you are connected to? So whether it's a yoga mat or a carpet or a wooden floor perhaps, or is there a layer of fabric between your body and the mat? Just noticing all those little differences. And what about temperature wise? What's the temperature like? Is it same throughout the body? Maybe you've got your spine on a yoga mat, but your hands are off the mat. Is the connection different? Is the temperature different there? Just keep the breath long and deep. Lovely. This is a really good exercise that you can do anywhere. You don't have to do it laying down with your eyes closed. You can do it seated. You can do it standing. but just by focusing in on the body in one particular aspect. So today it's the contact with the earth. Just helps us quieten down and slow those thoughts in the mind. Okay, so before we start moving, I'd like you to set an intention for your practice. So using the words I am is a really good way of setting yourself a positive statement. So I am grounded, I am calm. Can be absolutely anything. So think of the words I am and your mind will put a word after it for you. And then I just want you to put that on repeat. It's called a sankalpa, a positive statement. So whatever your sankalpa is, just repeat it to yourself. That can be your focus for practice today. Lovely. And then we're going to start just moving our fingers. So you can rub your thumb and fingers together just to create a little bit of movement. And then bring it into your toes as well. So start wiggling fingers and toes just to create a small amount of movement. Then bring it into the wrists and the ankles. Okay, let's draw both of our knees into our chest. So bring them in and give yourself a little hug. So hold just below the knees and start by rocking from side to side. So just slowly rocking one side and the other, keeping the head, the shoulders on the mat, nicely relaxed. And then placing one hand on each knee. Make some circular movements with your knees. So your knees can either work together or independently. So circling the knees, just oiling those hip joints. So circling the knees and then go the other way. So change direction. That's it. And then if you hold behind the back of the thighs, extend your legs up towards the ceiling. So we can flex our feet. So push your heels up towards the ceiling. And then see if you can spread all of your toes out so they're independent of each other. So spread the toes out nice and wide. Can you move your toes independently of each other? So working one toe at a time. I can't. All right, let's circle the ankles just to get rid of any clicks that we've got going on there. So circle them one way and then always go the other direction as well. Hold inside your thighs now and take the legs out wide into a straddle. So take them out nice and wide. Lead with your heels. So just go as far as feels comfortable and then bring them back into your chest, holding behind the back of the thighs. We're going to rock and roll forward and back, probably 3 or 4 times, to bring ourselves up into a seated position. So just slowly coming up and then coming up to seat. So cross-legged, if that feels comfortable, or you can do any other, you can kneel or put your legs out in front of you if you prefer. So just a nice tall seated position, starting with your hands on your knees. All right, as we inhale, think about pushing the chest forward, lifting the gaze up towards the ceiling, so pushing the chest forward. As you exhale, bring your chin into your chest and round your spine back, so it's a seated cat-cow. And then inhale, push the chest forward, lift the head up. Exhale, round the spine, bring the chin to the chest and push the belly all the way back. Do this again, inhale, lift up. And then exhale to round. Work with the pace of your breath. Do it once more. So inhale, lift the head. And then exhale, slowly round. And then bring yourself back up to a neutral spine position. We're going to just rotate forward. So as you push, come towards one knee and then across to the other and then all the way back. So we inhale as we come forward and exhale as we go back. So inhale, come forward, add any little twists, extra movements here that you want that feel good. Let the head go and just go with the movement. So rotating, working into the hips and then change your direction. So go the other way. So slowly rolling, just getting everything moving. Lovely. Just do me 2 more in this direction. So nice and slow rolls, last one, and then bring it back up into a neutral position and sit with a nice tall spine. Now uncross the legs. We're going to put the feet to mat distance apart. All right, so feet are mat distance. Bring your hands behind you with the fingertips pointing forwards. Okay, so feet are mat distance. Then drop both of your knees to the right. So both of the knees are going to the right side. Then the right hand is going to come behind us towards the center of the mat, and then bring that left arm up and all the way over. So then we're reaching both of our hands towards the back of the mat. So the legs are dropped over. This hip will lift, so your left hip will lift up. Both hands are coming towards the back of the mat. And then from here, if this is enough, stay here. Or you might want to come down onto your forearms and just drop the head down. You should feel a nice twist coming through the body, but only go as deep as you feel comfortable. So you may just want to stay up like this in a taller position. Okay, or extend the arms as far forward as you can. Just let the head go down. Just breathe into that twist. Carefully work the hands back underneath the shoulders. Come back to center. So bring those feet back. Just check that they're mat distance apart. Hands behind you again. Drop the knees over to the left side. Bring the left hand all the way back to the center of the mat. Reach the right arm up and over to bring the right hand next to the left. And then either, again, you can stay here or you can lower down onto forearms or come down as deep as you feel comfortable with. And just to get that twist through the body. So just lowering yourself down. Good, breathe into the twist. And then bring the hands back underneath your shoulders. Slowly bring yourself up. So we're back into that seated position and the feet are about mat distance apart still. All right, so use your hands to bring you into a yogic squat. So lifting your bottom off the floor. So yogic squats, heels preferably down if they can be, don't worry if not. You try and use your elbows to push the knees out nice and wide and bring the hands into prayer at heart center. If you have got nice open hips, you might be able to push those knees out more with your elbows. But we want to keep the spine as tall as we can, so let the tailbone just drop down. So we don't want the bum sticking out here. We want a nice tall spine and keep the shoulders pushing back, so nip your shoulder blades together. Take an inhale and exhale. And again, breathe into those hips. Breathe in and release it. Well done. Bring your fingertips to the floor, lift your hips to the sky, and then toe heel the feet so that they are hip distance apart. So we've got a gap between the feet here. So nice gap between the feet. Just let the head drop down towards the feet, take hold of opposite elbows and hang in a ragdoll position. You may want to just rock from side to side, just to release some of that tension off in the back of the legs. The spine should be as long as possible, so really lengthen through the spine area and let your head be nice and heavy. Okay, drop your fingertips to the floor. You may have to bend your knees to get them there, that's okay. So fingertips on the floor and then move the weight into the balls of your feet and then into your heels. So you can lift your heels off the floor and then go back onto the heels and lift the toes. And then do that a few times. So just rolling, rocking forward and back between the balls of the feet and the heels. And then come to a place where you've got equal pressure through the balls and the heels. Soften off through the knees. Keep the chin into the chest and slowly, super slowly roll up the spine and come to standing. Once the head comes up, take your arms up to the ceiling, touch your palms together and look up towards your hands. And then exhale, slowly bring the prayer through center and take it all the way back down to the floor. Bring those hands now onto your shins and halfway lift, so flat back. So really lengthen from your coccyx all the way to the top of your head. Bend your knees, hands to the mat. Let's step back into plank. Nice and strong through the plank. So four points of contact here, spreading the fingers out nice and wide. Pushing your heels to the back of the room, tummy is engaged, legs are engaged. Now drop your knees down onto the floor. And then let's lower chin and chest to the mat. So keeping the elbows tight, lower the chin and chest down, untuck the legs and the toes, push into the hands and lift the chest, look forward into a back bend. Breathe in here And as you breathe out, squeeze your shoulder blades together. And again, inhale. As you exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades closer towards each other. Good, one more breath in. Exhale, lower yourself down to the floor. Push yourself into tabletop, so hands and knees, and then all the way back, bringing your bottom onto your heels, your forehead to the floor, and into your child's pose. Okay, so child's pose is your resting posture. Big toes are touching, knees are together or apart, it's up to you. The forehead to the floor, or you can bring your hands underneath your head to make a little pillow. And we just take some deep inhales and exhales here. So before we start really moving, I want you to notice if you have got any tension holding anywhere, any tightness or injuries. Just notice how you're feeling on a physical level before we start flowing. And I ask you please to be aware of any of those points throughout the practice today. Just be gentle with your body. It will tell you how far it needs to go. Okay, on your next inhale, walk your fingertips as far forward as you can. So look at your hands, spread the fingers out nice and wide, push down through your finger pads, pull yourself up onto your knees, tuck your toes. Now lift your knees off the floor just to hover a few inches off the mat. So we're engaging through the core, so get your tummy turned on, okay? And then lift your hips and push your right heel down to the mat. So just the right heel, keep the left knee bent. So right heel's coming to the floor. Good, and then change. Push the left heel to the floor, bend the right leg. Just pedaling into our downward facing. Doing this a few more times. So bending the right, pushing the right heel down, bending the left. And then push the left down and bend the right. Do this as many times as you need to, just to get those legs working and opening them up gently. And always check that you're pushing through finger pads, so you don't want to put too much weight into the wrists here. So push down through the knuckles of your fingers as well. Okay, so feet are hip distance, hands are shoulder distance. Sorry, can't speak today. And we should be making a lovely inverted V shape from our hands up to our hips and then back down to the heels. So pull the belly in, look between your legs. Now just give the head a shake out to release neck tension. So let the head be as heavy as it can be. Good, and then with our hands, we're going to walk back to our feet. So walk your hands back to your feet. And then if you bend into your knees so that your chest comes onto your thighs. So we've got a really generous bend here. And then bring your elbows just below your knees and your hands into a prayer position. Then you can drop your head down to rest on your thumbs. And we call this a happy squat. Okay, so happy squat. So we've got a nice bend into those knees. The feet are hip distance apart. Elbows are just below the knees and the hands are making a little pillow for the head. So resting in happy squat position. Take an inhale here. See if you can sit down a little bit more. And breathe in. As you exhale now, bring your hands to the floor, lift your hips to the sky, and then roll up the spine slowly to stand like we did before. So slowly rolling up, keeping the chin tucked into the last moment. Reach your arms up to the ceiling, bring the hands into prayer at heart center. Lovely. Now bring your feet together. The big toes will touch. We should have a gap between the knees and the heels. Hands are in prayer heart center. Give your shoulders a roll back and down. Close your eyes and just breathe. Notice how you're feeling. Take a few long inhales and exhales here. Let's keep dropping those shoulders down and away from the ears. Tuck the tailbone slightly, so pull the belly button in so we've got activation into the core. Feel that connection through your feet into the mat beneath you. All right, well done. Inhale, sweep those arms up to the sky. Exhale into forward fold. Halfway lift. Lengthen through the spine so the hands can be on the shins or the floor. Then bend into the knees so you can walk the hands forward into that plank position, which is nice and strong, and then lower down your knees. Then the chin and the chest come to the mat. Elbows are tight. Release, lay down, push through and forward into your back bend. Go as deep as you feel comfortable with. Come onto your hands and knees, sit back, child's pose. Bottom goes to the heels, forehead touches the mat. Come up again, hands and knees, tabletop, toes tuck, hips lift, downward facing dog. Bring the big toes together at the back of the mat. Then lift the right leg up into the air. Keep your hips nice and square. So if you look at your right toes, they should be pointing down. And then look between your hands. We're going to step the right foot in between the hands at the top. You can double step it, you can get hold of the foot and give it a help if you need to. Left knee comes down onto the floor, untuck the back toe, push, circle the arms forward, push into the front foot as you come up into low lunge. So arms come to the sky. We can always have hands onto the hips if it's too much. And just tuck and sink into the hips here, relax the shoulders. Good, so here or here, it's up to you. Just taking some breaths to open up through the hip flexor. Keeping the shoulders down and away from the ears. If the arms are on the hips, bring them up towards the ceiling. We're going to twist to the right side. So open yourself up to the right. So you're twisting to the side. Good. Bring it back to center. Open yourself up to the left. Good. Bring it back to center. Open up again to the right. And then left hand comes onto that right knee. The right hand either base of the spine, and so we're twisting the chest open, or you can get hold of that foot behind you. It's a little bit of a wobbly on this one, and it's good for a quad stretch. So see how it feels. So open the chest as much as we can by pushing against this front knee. And can we look over our back shoulder? Good, take an inhale. And twist a little more on the exhale. Good, inhale here. And then exhale, carefully release. Bring your hands to the top of the mat. Push your hips back, pull the right toes up into your half splits. If the floor is too far away, hands can come onto the hips. And then move that right hip back towards the back of the room as you pull the toes up. And we should feel it down the length of this leg here. Breathe in, push those hips back further. And now inhale, really lengthen through the spine. Can you take your chest down towards your thigh to deepen that stretch? Just go as deep as you feel comfortable with. Use the breath to take you deeper. So each exhale, we might find another centimetre or two that we can work into. Keep pushing that right hip back. Keep it in line with the left. And then release your hands to the floor. Walk forward again, up to the top of the mat. Step your left foot up to join your right. Feet are hip distance. Bend into the knees. Make that happy squat position. So elbows below the knees, hands in prayer. Rest your head on your thumbs. Sit your bottom down. Take 2 inhales and exhales here. Lovely. Sit deeper. 1 more breath in. Exhale, hands to the floor, hips come to the sky, roll up the spine to come to standing. Really slowly, all the way up, take your arms to the sky, touch your palms together, forward fold. Halfway lift, hands can be on the shins. Step back, plank position. Okay, lower, knees, chin and chest, or chaturanga if you're ready. Push through, back bend, so raising the chest, pushing it forward, gazes up or forwards. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Make that inverted V shape. Bring your big toes together to touch at the back of the mat. Lift the left leg up. Keep the hips square. Look at the left toes. Are they pointing down? Then look between your hands and step that left foot in between your hands. Drop the back knee. Give it a bit of help if you need. Untuck the toes. Push into your front foot as you raise your arms up, low lunge. So hands are either here or onto the hips, your choice. Tuck the tailbone and sink into the hips. Keeping the spine tall. Don't allow the ribs to stick out. Pull them in so that the core is active because that will help you with your balance. Relax the shoulders. Breathe in. Sink deeper. If the arms are extended, we maybe turn the palms to face towards each other. Sink deeper again on the next breath. All right, bring your arms up to the ceiling if they're not there. Now open up to the left side. So twist and open up. Arms extend out and then bring it back to center. Open up to the right side. Bring it back to center. Good, well done. Open up to the left. Hold here. Bring the right hand onto that left knee. The left hand, base of the spine, Or bring the heel towards the bottom and catch hold of that back foot. And then turn to look over your back shoulder, if you can, so the chest is open to the side edge of your mat. And each inhale, we grow even taller through the spine. Each exhale, twist deeper, so pull that left shoulder back. Use the hand on the front knee to as leverage to turn yourself deeper into the twist. Really good detoxification posture. Okay, and then carefully release. Bring your hands to frame the front foot. Push both hips back. Then pull the left toes up into your half split, your hamstring stretch. So hands can be floor or on the waist. Push the hips back. So making sure that that left hip goes back and the right hip comes forward so that they're nice and square. And the spine stays long. And each exhale, we start bringing the chest down towards the thigh. So that crease underneath the left butt cheek, you want to push that towards the back of the room. As you try to bring your collarbone towards your big toe. Left toe should be pulling up towards you so you get it into the calf muscle as well as through the hamstring. Well done. Release. Come forward, hands to the top of the mat. Now step back to plank. So both feet at the back and then lower in a straight line. So we go to low push-up. Really slowly, we're going all the way to the mat. So super slowly, all the way down to lay down onto our tummies and untuck your toes there. Okay, just have a little wiggle of your hips. Take your feet a little wider, especially if you've got a niggly lower back. Feet can go a little bit wider. And then the hands are going to stay underneath our shoulders, so kind of next to our shoulder area. All right, so push down through the top of your feet, engage your core, and as you inhale, I just want you to activate your quads, so your kneecaps may lift off the floor, so activate the leg muscles. Okay, and the next breath in, squeeze your shoulder blades together and lift the chest. So no pressures into the hands are just there to stabilize us. We're just squeezing and lifting the chest so we're getting into our lower back. Breathe in. And then exhale, lower. Take your arms into like a goalpost position. So the elbows are level with the shoulders and the elbows are, the forearms are at right angles. Look down towards the mat. Push down through the top of the feet. Engage the quads and the glutes and the abdominals, and then lift up. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Bring your goalpost arms with you. So we're hovering the upper body off the mat. If this feels all right, so you can then lift your legs as well. So lift your legs up if it feels okay for the back and hold, but breathe whilst you're here. So inhaling, lifting, exhaling, don't drop. Inhale, lift a little more. Exhale, don't drop. Once more. Inhale, squeeze and lift. Exhale, carefully lower. Let it go. Bring your forehead to the mat. Just move your hips from side to side. We've got one more. We're going to do the same thing again, but work dynamically with our arms. Okay? All right, so engage legs, bottom, abs. And then lift up on the inhale, lifting that goalpost shape up. If you want to lift the legs, do. It's your choice. Now, as we breathe in, we're going to reach the arms forward. As we breathe out, we're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together and pull them back. So inhale, reach forward with the arms. Exhale, squeeze and pull them back. Two more. Inhale, reach forward. And then squeeze and pull them back. Last one. Inhale, reach forward. And then pull, squeeze back, squeeze, 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 and release. Bring the hands underneath the head, let the elbows go wide, and just rock the hips from side to side. Release it, let it go. Use an exhale, sigh out through the mouth. Brilliant. Hands come under the shoulders now. Push yourself up and all the way back. Take a child's pose. Just see how the lower back feels. Have a wiggle from side to side. Just let the bottom drop onto the heels. And then let's come into our tabletop. So hands and knees. All right, so hands and knees. Keeping the right hand and the right knee in line with each other. We're going to step the left foot back. All right, so this leg, so this right lower leg can just kickstand behind us. So you can tuck the toes under. So if I do this leg, you kind of tuck the toes under and kickstand it out. Like the stand on a bike from years ago. So kickstand the right leg and then step the left leg back and take the left arm towards the ceiling. So you're in a modified side plank. Okay, are we there? Yeah, awesome. All right, so extend the fingertips up to the ceiling to try and get the arms into a vertical position. Then lift the left leg so it's parallel to the floor and flex that left foot. Flex that left foot. Good, so just get some length through the body, and then as you inhale, reach the arm up and over your head to make yourself into that really long shape. If the foot needs to come to the floor, that's fine. So extend and reach, and then as we inhale, we're going to lift up and we're going to come into a gate posture. So the left foot, we just move along. The left foot, we're on the inside edge of that foot, yeah? The left hand comes down to the leg, the right arm comes up and over the head to get some length through the side body. So from your knee all the way up to your fingertips. So we're into gate posture. Okay, then we're going to take it back to the other side. So bring your hand down, take the arm up, lift the leg as well. So back into that side plank modification. And then we'll come back to gate. So bring the foot down, reach the arm up and all the way over. We're going to do this once more. So cartwheel the right hand down to the floor, take the left arm up, left leg lifts. And if you want to, see if you can bring your heel to your bottom and get hold of the foot behind you. And then if you push the foot into the hand and push your hips forward, we can start looking over that left shoulder towards the ceiling to really open up the front of the body. And breathe. That's too much. We can always just stay in this position in the modified side plank. But just find your breath, open up the chest. And then release out. Bring the foot down and bring yourself back up into gate posture. So we're still on our right knee. The left leg is out to the side. Okay, now if you bring your hands forward so that they are underneath your shoulders, so we should have a nice flat back position. Ensure that your right hand is directly under the shoulder and then open with the left arm. So lift the left arm up towards the ceiling. Open yourself up. And then just bring it back down to the floor. And then again, inhale, open it up. So you can take it a little bit further back and then bring it back down to the floor. And then once more, inhale, open it up. We're going to thread the needle. So this top hand is going to come behind and we're going to possibly bring the shoulder and the side of the head down to the floor to thread our needle. Now you should feel a stretch into your inner thigh here. Okay, and then this right hand can just stay next to the face. We can reach it forward or we can wrap it behind and maybe get hold of our left thigh. Lots of options, but we're just trying to melt into that inner thigh on the right leg, just to let go of that stretch. Take another breath or two here. Nice long inhales and exhales. Good, then bring the right hand back so it's underneath the shoulder, so it's next to the face, and push into it so you can raise up again once more with that arm. Reach it up towards the ceiling and then bring it down so it's back underneath the shoulder. Okay, and then with our arms, so the last bit on this side, reach the arms further forward and a little bit wider and see if we can start bringing the chest down towards the floor. The forehead or the chin can touch the mat. But we're just trying to bring the chest down. So if I turn this side, so your bottom wants to stay above your knee. Okay, so we don't want to sit the bottom back or slide it forward. So keep your hips above that right knee. And just breathe into it. Then very carefully walk yourself back in, bring the hands under the shoulders and bring that knee back in. So we're back into a tabletop position. Good, from here, I want you to lift your head and tilt your tailbone back. Take a round of cat-cow. Exhale, round the spine, bring the chin into the chest and tuck the tailbone. Good, inhale, lift the head, tilt the tailbone back. And exhale, round the spine. Do that once more. Inhale, lift the head up, tilt the tailbone back, and then exhale, let's round. And then release back into a neutral spine position. We'll do exactly the same on the other side. So making sure that your left hand is under your shoulder and your knee, we're going to take that left foot and kickstand it out. So take that left foot out, behind you a touch. So then when you open up, you've got a little bit of a stand to give you some stability. So the right leg extends on the inside edge of the right foot, and the right arm is reaching up towards the ceiling. Just check that left hand is under the left shoulder there as well. Then lift the leg up. This is optional. Lift the right leg so it's parallel to the floor and flex that foot. So push away as if there's a wall there. You're trying to push that wall away. So nice and strong. Engage through the core. Strong through the center line of the body, and then reach the arm up and overhead to get as much length as you can. So reach in the opposite direction to the where you're kicking your heel. So extend there. Lovely. And then bring it back up and lift up into gate posture. The right hand drops onto the right leg, the left arm comes up and overhead. So we turn it into a side body stretch. So this side of the body all the way down this side. The left side should be getting a lovely stretch. And then we're going to transition back. So bring the left hand down, reach the right arm up and over. Right leg lifts to parallel with the floor. And then again, bring it over into your gate posture. Right hand down the right leg, left arm overhead. Last time, bring the hand down. Lift the right leg. And then if you want to, bend the right heel to your bottom, catch hold of it with your right hand, and then push the foot into the hand. So we're trying to get as much distance between the heel and the bottom as possible. So push the foot away from the heel and the arm is extended. See if you can turn your chest and start looking over the right shoulder towards the ceiling. Keep moving your hips forward so that you can open the front of the body. Breathe. That's quite important. Breathe in and release it. Last breath here. And carefully release out. So release the foot from the hand and come back into your gate posture. Now the hands come in front of us so that they are directly underneath our shoulders. And then keep the left hand planted. Reach up with the right. And then bring it down to the floor. And then again, inhale, open yourself up. So reach that right arm. See if you can reach it a bit further back. And release it once more. Inhale, lift up, open the chest. Now thread the right hand behind the left for thread the needle. So slowly bring it behind, moving the shoulder and the side of the head down to the floor. You can always use a cushion here if you need one. And really melting into that left inner thigh. Now your left hand can reach forward. It can stay next to the face or it can wrap behind to where your hip and thigh meet. So whatever feels more comfortable, but just, you should be getting a stretch through the inner thigh and the shoulder here. So breathe into those areas, try to just melt into them. Lovely, another round of breath, big deep inhale. And release it and slowly bring yourself back. So hand comes next to the face, we push back into our hands, so our hands are underneath our shoulders again, and then walk them further forward and then a little bit further apart so we can melt our heart. So this is called melted heart posture. We bring our heart down to the floor and either the forehead or the chin's quite intense, see how it feels. The chin or the forehead touches the floor, but the hips stay high over that left knee. Again, feeling that stretch in the inner thigh. You should also feel this as an opening for the shoulders as well, so you can take the arms wider or further apart if you wish. Lovely. Carefully bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Bring that knee in so that we are back into our tabletop position, facing towards the top edge of our mat. So knees are underneath our hips, hands are underneath our shoulders. Let's make some circular movements, just moving the hips forwards and back. And then change direction. Let your head just be heavy. Maybe let it roll as well. See how it feels. Push your bottom all the way back onto your heels for a child's pose. Bring your forehead down to the floor. Let your elbows drop onto the mat. And then bring your hands together into a prayer on the mat. As you inhale, draw that prayer back so it comes between your shoulder blades. So we're in a child's pose with prayer hands between our shoulder blades. Lovely. Take a big deep inhale here. Exhale, sigh out of the mouth. If you push your elbows into the floor, you should get a stretch of your triceps as well. So get stretched on the back of the arms. And then carefully release. Bringing your hands back under, pull yourself up into tabletop. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips high and come into downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Just notice how this down dog feels and then start slowly walking your feet towards your hands. So we're coming up to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Come up on the inhale, slowly sweeping the arms all the way to the ceiling. Bring them into prayer at heart center. Well done. Good, good. All right, so take your feet to mat distance apart now. So the toes should be pointing forward, but just take them to mat distance apart. And as you inhale, lift your arms up and then release down. So fold down over your legs again. And now if you step your right foot to the back of the mat, so big step and then drop the knee down onto the floor. So we should have our hands inside our left foot and the right knee is down. Okay, so we're in a half lizard position. Yeah, now push the left hand down into the floor. Reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. No, sorry, push your right hand into the floor, left hand to the ceiling. Does that make sense? So you're opening up, towards the bent leg, yeah? So just find some opening up through the chest here. And then exhale, slowly bring your hand back down to the floor and then turn these front toes out onto a diagonal. So turn them out so you get more space into the hip here. Let the foot go onto its outside edge. So lifting and opening that foot as well. And then bring your hand onto your inner thigh and really start pushing that hip out and start then turning your chest in that direction so we can really sink down into the hips and breathe here. See if you can look over your back shoulder as well. Really get into that hip, sink it down nice and deep. Then release your hand back down to the top of the mat. And then let's step back into down dog. So tuck the back toe and step that foot all the way back into our downward facing dog. So coming to downward facing. And then let's lift the opposite leg into the air and step it to the outside of our hand. So step it to, I think it should be your right foot, to the outside of your hand. So you're just taking the same posture on the other side. I'll just turn to face you again. It's easier to show you that way. So the top foot, your hands are inside the foot. Make sure you can see. So the hands are inside the foot here and the back knee. Take your back knee as far back as feels comfortable. If you are super open in your hips, take that knee further back to really get into that hip area. Now ensure that the supportive hand is underneath your shoulder and then extend and lift your arm up. So we're opening up towards our front bent knee. Look towards that top hand as well and really extend those fingertips up high. So again, we're trying to get that vertical alignment with the arms. Opening it up nicely, breathing into it. Pull that top shoulder back on the exhale. And then bring the hand back down inside the foot. Take that front foot out onto the diagonal, so turn your toes out. Then drop onto the outside edge of the foot. Bring your hand onto your inner thigh and then push the thigh away. Really push it away. Start turning your chest towards that bent leg and look over your back shoulder at the same time as sinking your hips down towards the mat. Okay, so we're sinking those hips down and turning open. Use your hand to push the knee out to the side. And breathe. Lovely. Take another breath and then carefully release back to center. Hands back to the mat. Tuck your back toe under and then step back into your downward facing dog. So the hips are high and the heels push down. Now come forward into plank. Lower, chaturanga or knees, chin and chest. Push through into your back bend. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Take a breath or two just to settle in. All right, look at your hands. Bend at the knees, jump, step or walk your feet to the top, halfway lift. Lengthen through the spine. Fold on the exhale, soften over your knees. Come up on the inhale, nice and steady and slowly reaching the arms up. Bring the hands into prayer at heart center. Lovely, well done. We're going to take a balance now before we go to the floor. So starting with your feet about hip distance apart, take the weight into your left foot. Then bring your right knee into your chest. Just starting with a standing balance, so into our Tadasana position, then take hold of the foot and guide it into place for tree posture, so above or below the knee joint. And then our hands can meet in prayer at heart center. Okay, let the shoulders drop down and away from the ears. Maybe extend your prayer up or open up here as well. But keep the shoulders relaxed so the elbows can soften. Wherever you want to go with your arms. But keep pushing this knee out to the side. All right, I want you to bring your arms in front of you and interlace them and then push them away. Then take them up to the ceiling and try and push the palms of your hands up towards the ceiling. So squeeze your ears with your arms. So really extend, lift up out of the rib cage. How's that balance doing today? If you fall out, don't worry, just come back in when you're ready. And then turn your palms to face you. As you bring them down slowly, we're going to bring the knee in front and then see if we can catch hold underneath that foot. It's a nice little challenge, this one. So catch hold underneath your foot. Stare at something in front of you, it really helps. And then kick your leg out in front. So push your heel to the front of the room. That's it. Now see if you can straighten your supportive leg. And then bend it back in. And then release it and let it go. Well done, just wiggle the legs out. So whatever stage of that you got to, brilliant, well done. Let's try the other side. So take the weight into the right foot. Bring your left knee into your chest. So just getting our balance in staff pose to begin and then guiding in for treat. Remember, if it doesn't work above the knee, put the foot below the knee. We can even just have it across the foot. So hands can be in prayer. Extended prayer, or we can find our branches. You can do whatever you want with your arms. Make your own shapes. Yogi's choice, as we call it. It's also yogi's choice to not do something if you don't want to do it. So if you're thinking, what's she talking about? Don't do it, it's fine. Okay, so taking some nice big deep breaths in here, getting that balance, that stability. Bring your hands in front and interlace them. Okay, push them away. So push your palms away, then take them up to the ceiling. So squeezing your ears with your arms. Then here's your challenge, bring them back down. So palms face you, then bring the knee in and hook your hands underneath that foot. Okay, got hold of it. Then stay there or kick it forward. Kick that leg forward. Now straighten the supportive leg. So we're trying to make an L shape with the legs. So we don't want to lift it more than parallel with the floor, all right? So just push the leg forward. Well done. Bring the knee in and release it. Let it go. Brilliant. Well done. Wiggle the legs out. Give them a bit of a shake. Fabulous. And then back up to the top of the mat. Take your feet to mat distance apart. Turn your toes out. So we're like 10 to 2 with our feet. We're going to lift up on the inhale. Exhale, we're going to sit into our yogic squat position that we did earlier. So sit your bottom down. Then you can use your hands if you want to. We're going to bring our bottom to the floor and then lift the legs up so that the legs, the lower legs, are parallel with the mat into our half boat. So hold here or extend your arms forward. All right, to get the core working. Keep the chest lifted. Breathe. So if we are holding onto the legs, just a really light hold. Lift the chest on the inhale. Exhale, squeeze those knees towards your chest. And again, inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, squeeze those knees in. One more, inhale, lift. As you exhale, we're slowly going to lower all the way down to bring yourself to lay down onto the mat. So coming back onto your backs like we were right at the beginning. Bend your knees, bring your heels in towards your bottom with your arms just down by your sides. The palms can be facing down towards the floor. So bring those heels in nice and close, feet to hip distance. Tuck the tailbone, tilt the pelvis, not tuck the tailbone. So tilt the pelvis up and then start pushing into the feet and lift your hips. The arms are just down by your sides. Just so we get a stretch through the front of the body here. We're not going any deeper than this today. So just lifting the hips as high as you can. If you want to go a tiny bit deeper, start rolling your shoulders towards each other so that we can push the chest towards the chin a bit more. And we get a little bit higher. But the glutes should be on, the bottom should be working, the legs should be working. Just make sure the knees don't go wide. Keep those feet strong on the floor and the knees pushing in the same direction as the toes. So lift your chest towards your chin. Take a breath in and then exhale carefully and slowly lower all the way back down. Bring your knees in, give yourself a hug, have a little rock from side to side. And then taking the knees either towards the armpits, we're going to get hold of either our ankles or the outside edges of our feet for happy baby. Okay? So your arms should be in between, should be inside your knees. So if we can't quite reach the feet, hold on to the ankles. If we can't quite hold on to the ankles, you can just hold the back, hold kind of the back of the knees like this. We're trying to bring the knees into our armpits. The soles of the feet face the ceiling. And then try and connect your spine to the mat. So push your bottom down onto the floor. Heads down, shoulders relaxed, and have a little rock from side to side. Awesome. You can close your eyes here. Just slowly rocking side to side. And if you hold around your big toes with your peace fingers, so wrapping your peace fingers through and around the big toe, we can extend the legs, maybe one at a time. Just extending one leg out, then the other. They may or may not straighten. That's not a problem. Just again, rocking from side to side. Well done, and release. Bring your knees into your chest. Let's keep hold of the right leg and extend the left leg all the way to the mat. So the left leg comes down to the floor, the right knee's into the chest. Pull it in nice and tight. Use the left hand to pull it across the body and take a spinal twist. Now that right arm will extend in the opposite direction. You can look towards your right if that feels okay for the neck. But shoulders are down. We're pulling and twisting, pulling the knee over and finding that reclined twist. Really breathe into that rib cage and exhale, try to soften. Twist a little deeper. Pull the belly in. That knee might go over a touch further. Bring it back to center. Good. Let's bring the left knee in and then keep hold of the left, extend the right leg long. So right leg to the floor, left knee's in the chest. The right hand pulls that knee across the body all the way to the other side. Extend your left arm away from you in a crucifix position, and you can look that way if it feels okay. So breathing into the left rib cage now. Pull the belly in. Exhale, melt those shoulders to the floor. Good, breathe in again. Can that knee go over further? And once more, inhale. And exhale. Good, inhale, bring it back to center. Slowly and release both of your legs long into your Shavasana. So take the feet to mat distance, arms by your side, palms face up. So the position we started in. If this isn't great for your lower back, you can get a bolster or a cushion or something and put it underneath your knees. And that will just give you some support for the lower spine. If you haven't got a cushion, then feet mat distance and knock the knees together. And same thing, just open up the chest. Now look up towards the ceiling, take a big deep inhale. Fill up everything with breath. Open the mouth and sigh it out. One more, breathe in, fill up completely. And exhale, let it go. Release, soften, let go, eyes closed. Let your breath return to its normal, natural rhythm. And just sink into your Shavasana. Well done. Just be comfortable here. Find a place for relaxation and stillness. And once you have settled, start from the crown of the head and work slowly down through the body. Just releasing and relaxing each individual body part and letting it soften and sink into the mat. Let go of physical tension. But also let go of thoughts that are trying to take over the mind. Using that mindfulness exercise that we did right at the beginning, if you wish, just feeling that connection of your body on the ground, the different points, the different pressures, the different feelings of your contact with the earth. Reminding yourself of your sankalpa, your intention that you set when we first started, so that I am statements. And just pop that on repeat a few more times to really allow us to plant the seed in the subconscious, to allow that seed to grow. Before you start finding movement in the body, just notice how you're feeling now, physically, mentally, energetically, emotionally, on all levels. And then the small movements again, maybe rubbing the thumbs and fingers together, small movements, toes. Anything that feels good. If you want, you can take a stretch. Taking the arms overhead, full body stretch. And then draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a well-deserved hug, rocking from side to side, slowly rolling onto your right side. And then coming up into seated when you're ready. If you can, keep the eyes closed whilst we transition. We'll meet in a seated position facing forwards. Tall spine, relaxed shoulders. Bring your hands into prayer at heart center. Take a nice big deep inhale here. And exhale to release it. Give thanks to everyone who has shared this practice with you this evening. I thank you all for joining me. It's been a pleasure to guide you. Namaste.